You can bring in the jurors. Thank you. You may be seated. State may call your next witness.
We are going to recall for the last time Sergeant Roman Aronstein to just continue.
You're still under oath.
At the time, before we needed to call that other witness, we had been discussing the fact that there had been a series of interviews that you had conducted with Mr. Prokopovitch. Do you recall that testimony?
I do.
So as we were transcending through those, we had discussed the fact that there had been the original interview on April 26, 2013, and then there was a second interview on July 30th, 2016. After you had those interviews, was there what deemed to be an interview on December 11th of 2015 that occurred with Jim Prokopovitz and Kathy Friday?
I believe it's December 1, 2015?
Yes, I'm sorry, December 1st.
Yes, ma'am.
And was that an interview that was recorded?
There was an audio recording of that interaction.
Okay. Now, just so it's clear for the jury, as we had testimony from you as to your initial response in this case, they've had the opportunity to see a couple of interviews you conducted. Now, as we're moving from 2013 to December 1st of 2015, at that juncture in the course of your investigation, have you been made aware that Jim Prokopovitz is in a relationship with Kathy Friday?
That's correct.
And the jury's heard some information in this case relative to Miss Friday. But at the time that you are meeting with them, what's the intent of this interview?
So, Special Agent Jurgis accompanied me on that particular date. We had been doing some other interviews related to this investigation on that side of the state. It's over 100 miles, I believe, to the west of Green Bay. I had briefed Special Agent Jurgis on some of the individuals that were involved in this investigation. He has conducted interviews and has been assisting me, but I believe that was the first date that we had an opportunity to introduce both of us, ourselves to Kathy Friday at her residence. So we took that opportunity to stop in. I know it's important in investigations like this to maintain contact with family members. So we wanted to stop in and check in and see if there was anything else that was new, anything pertinent, any additional information that that could be gleaned. And I wanted to introduce my partner who had come on board on this investigation at this point in time to Ms. Friday.
And as part of the investigation, did the status of the relationship of Mr. Prokopovitz and Kathy Friday, how it began and the circumstances, start to become something that law enforcement was following up on?
Yes, it did, and that was part of the reason that was drawing us to that part of the state. Law enforcement, I was receiving information and sharing it with Special Agent Jurgis that the information we were receiving didn't seem to be consistent between parties and seemed to be suspect and was of interest to our investigation to try to identify really the truth of the matter.
Now, when you're doing this investigation, you've previously testified to trying to interview anybody who has information. At the time that you're meeting with them, do you already have a question about this chance casino meeting that they were involved in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And was one of the concerns that you weren't receiving the identity of the friends that Kathy Friday had gone with on that day?
Yes, as part of any interview, we first obtain the information and then we attempt to corroborate that information. We're not solely relying on people's information. So one of the stories from the Catherine Friday's perspective that she had reported to law enforcement is that she had traveled to a Wittenberg casino. She had done so, she had carpooled, and she had done so with some of her friends. But she had refused to provide other detailed information that would help us corroborate that. And one of those things was she refused to identify the friends that she was accompanied, that accompanied her to that location.
And why would it be important then for you to determine the identity of those friends? Is it for purposes of interviewing them?
Yes.
And when you're running an investigation and you're talking to somebody about what they had done and who they are with, is it typical you would interview those other people as well?
Yes.
So everything you're doing as part of this investigation, this is still pretty standard protocol for police investigations?
Yes, it is.
And at the time, with regard to not finding out who those individuals were from Kathy, have you also been making inquiries of Jim Prokopovitz about a friend of his?
Yes, so from Mr. Prokopovich's side of it, he had indicated that, so as these interviews continue forward, and I inquire further of how he ended up to be at that casino, he indicated that he was just there by chance. And after 30 years of not seeing Catherine Friday, by chance, he ended up running into her. So these subsequent interviews relate to how he ended up being at that casino. And part of that, he indicated that he had driven from the Pittsville area where he resided on Coonish Road, and he drove to see a friend in Shawano area, somebody that he knew, and then there was some extensive conversation about this particular individual. And then after that particular stop in Shawano, he decided to just continue driving west and ended up at the Wittenberg Casino, one he's never been to before.
And with regard to that then, is it important for law enforcement to not only talk to the people that are around Kathy Friday that day, but talk to the people that are around Jim Prokopovitz?
Yes, it would help me corroborate first the information that he's providing. It would also assist me with a timeline of when this particular trip would have happened. So the interest is to identify this individual and have an interview with them.
And that's all you're trying to do?
That is correct.
Your Honor, at this time, the state has marked exhibit number 96, which is a redacted portion of that interview from December 1st of 2015. We have spoken to the defense. We have made them aware that in particular, one of the interviews we're going to play is 5 hours long. We obviously cut that down to less than an hour in the interest of allowing these videos to be played. This one I can indicate happily is only 11 minutes and 48 seconds.
All right, go ahead.
So for the record, we're moving for the admission of Exhibit 96.
No objection, Your Honor.
96 is admitted.
you said that he called you days when you had this conversation, when he discovered Marv was passed, and then you learned that Kathy was missing. Can you just move just that next 30 days past that? How did you guys proceed from that point? Was there more phone calls? Was there a meeting? You said there was some sort of a chance meeting at a casino?
Yeah.
What happened first? How did you guys meet the first time after that phone call?
And was there several calls? Yeah, because I told him, I said, if you hear of anything, let me know. I felt, and I know he said his son was concerned. He called him several times. And I was, worried about him too. And I don't remember when it was. It was a chance meeting over at the casino over in Wittenberg. A couple gals and I were over there and sitting there playing a machine, and come to me, and I think I told you I would never, and I told you I would never, well, I have over 30 years, but I would never have recognized him. And he sat down on a machine next to me, and I just noticed he kept on, looking, and so I just kind of got up, and I'm a walker in the casino. I walk a lot. And so I went to a different machine and was playing, and here he come up. And he kept on looking at me again. And then he said, "Are you Kathy?" And it just kind of threw me. I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh my God, I would have never."
Is there any chance whatsoever that it wasn't a chance meeting?
Well, I remember asking you, how did he know that you were at the casino that day?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you recall telling him you were going out with your girlfriend? Because there's no reason for me to be in that casino.
Yeah. I don't remember, and I'm sorry, I don't remember if on our phone conversations,
Just
if
think
I
how
ever said,
unlikely that is.
yeah.
And how many years was it before you saw him? Before that day, how many years before that was the last time you saw him?
Oh, it had to be over 30 years.
That's how long it was.
Yeah.
And then, so 30 years later, you're now in this casino.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and like I said, we had talked.
We had conversations, sure.
Yeah, whether or not, I don't remember if I ever.
Is it possible?
It's possible.
I don't remember, did you say that was a one-off that you went with your girlfriends, or did you go there regularly?
We had gone a couple times. And a couple gals from Wassa and stuff, and it was a couple times. And again, throughout our conversations, did I mention it? I don't remember. I just don't remember. Was it a chance? I don't know.
And then,
I never did ask him either, I guess, so it just wasn't that.
and then remind me then, from that meeting, is that when you guys kind of connected more?
We then, after that, and I don't remember, that was, how many years ago? We met at the truck stop there, at that, the restaurant there. And talked, and it was...
Outside the casino in Wittenberg, that truck stop?
That truck stop, yeah, it's not by the casino.
But by the highway?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, because the casino is north on 41 or 45. 45. And the restaurant is south.
Okay. Do you have anything else? How about this? So we're all here together anyway. I wanted to get Wally's phone number anyway. If we can get Jim, and then we'll ask Jim how he got to be in that casino that day.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll be on our way. Is that fair enough, Kathy?
Yep.
Do you have any questions for us, by the way? I mean, it's been probably at least a year since I talked to you.
Yeah.
We stopped it at 3653 for a moment, Your Honor. Now, Sergeant Aronstein, at the time that you are meeting with these individuals, initially, who's part of this sit-down?
So when we came to the residence, Jim and Kathy were both home, and it was myself and Special Agent Jurgis. We had requested Jim to step out to give us just some brief privacy so we can have a brief conversation with Kathy. And what you're hearing now is Kathy describing how she ended up at the casino with this chance meeting and not knowing how Jim had ended up there. So I suggested let's have Jim come back inside and he can tell us how he ended up being at that casino.
So the male voice that the jury's hearing right now, that's your voice?
That's correct.
And is Special Agent Jurgis also there with you?
That's the other male voice that you're hearing. The female voice would be Kathy.
Okay. And now you're indicating to her to have Jim come in on the rest of it?
Yes.
Thank you.
We would urge you if, if you learn of something or think of something.
Absolutely.
Please.
Yeah. And like I said, if I had any.
You have his card, right?
Yes, I do. And, what's her name?
Sergeant Yancey?
Nikki. Yes, I've got her card too.
Okay.
One in my purse and one in, kitchen table, so.
Why don't we grab Jim and then we'll be on our way? Might write down the number.
He was crying, yes, he cried.
Hey Jim, we're going to be on our way back to Green Bay, but we were just discussing, actually, do you have, one person I haven't had a chance to speak and that was Wally. Do you have a phone number I can give him a buzz at?
I don't know his home phone number. It's in the phone book.
Oh, under,
Pro-Koe-Povitch, yeah.
Okay, you don't have it on your cell phone?
No, I don't have it on, I don't hardly ever, he usually calls me. I don't have it on my cell phone, his home phone number, and his cell phone he won't answer when he's at work.
We're stopping it briefly at 3852. Now, Sergeant Aronstein, just so the jury's not confused by this, the person who are you asking Jim about as far as a contact?
His son Wally, James Prokopovitch Jr.
Okay, and I didn't want the jury to get confused. You're not asking him yet about that friend. You're asking about Wally's contact information.
I am.
Okay.
He wouldn't know how to put it on his cell phone anyway.
You would. Where did you work at again?
Clem, tank lines,
Clem?
Yeah,
K-L-E-M?
K-L-E-M-M.
Is that in Pulaski?
No, in, Howard, I guess over there by the school down in that industrial park area, where the junkyard is there, Sadov's, down that way, and then you gotta turn left.
And Jim, he still lives over there by that cemetery?
Yep.
Over there? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll stop by and then have a chat with him.
He won't be home this afternoon.
Okay.
I know he goes to work for.
When is he home?
He gets home about 10 o'clock at night.
Monday through Friday? Or?
Usually Monday through Friday.
So it's
Sometimes he drives truck on the weekends for him.
Okay, so probably a good thing to call him and schedule something.
You would have to call him and schedule something.
Well, do you still have my card and phone number?
Yes, I do.
If you can give me his cell phone number and maybe a home number, call me and leave me a message with that.
Okay, I'll give you his phone number and cell phone number.
Yeah, that way I can leave a message and then when he has
Okay.
time to get back to me, that would
All right,
help me.
I'll let you know all of them. And
One thing that we talked about is when you guys first met in 2013,
Yeah.
Kathy was telling us that there was a chance meeting at a casino.
At a casino in Wittenberg. I just happened to be there.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I just happened to be there gambling. I went for a ride, and that's where I ended up, and stopped and just went in and just happened to run into her there.
Did you ever go to the United Casino?
Well, I haven't been there for a long time. Once in a while.
When's the last time?
Otherwise, I don't know how many years ago.
What do you do, slot machines or?
Yeah, slot machines once in a while. It's not, you know.
When is the last time you think you've been at the United Casino playing slots?
6, 7 years ago, probably. Yeah, with Vicky.
Before the day that you met Kathy at Wittenberg Casino, when were you at that casino before that?
About 6, 7 years, well, it'd be more than that now, 3 years, probably 8, 9 years ago.
So 6, 7 years at the United Casino, and probably even almost 10 years ago at the Wittenberg Casino.
Oh, at the Wittenberg Casino, I haven't been there. I just happened to come up this way going to a ride that day.
No. But, so when you saw Kathy in May,
Yeah.
2013,
Yeah.
before that, when was the last time you were
I was never there.
You've never ever been to that casino before?
No, never been there before.
Have you been to that casino since?
Yes, we usually go up
We
every
usually go every weekend.
week.
And that's the two of you together?
Yeah.
So before that, you've never ever been there?
No.
That day, May, you already had about a month of conversating? Or, no, it would have been...
July.
When did, see, I don't remember when it was that.
It was the end of June or first part of July when I called.
Oh, when you called her after Vicky went missing?
Yes.
The first time you called her was at the end of June or the beginning of July?
Yeah.
Okay, and then when did you see Kathy at the casino? What month?
May.
Because of my birthday.
Yeah, I called you after your birthday.
Yeah, but when were we at the casino? I don't
I
remember
don't
the date.
remember.
You don't remember?
I don't
remember when it was.
3 years ago. Oh, 3 years.
Sure. Sure.
I just went for a ride, and
But
that's all. I just went for a ride.
and decided to stop at
I
that
just
casino.
stopped there for a little
Where
bit.
were you going to go? Did you have a plan to go to that casino when you were
No,
home?
had no plan, no nothing.
Did you just headed west?
I just headed west. I was going to stop and see a friend of mine. Found out he had died that I knew from when I drove truck
And what
in
did you?
Shawano.
Shawano, and then you continued on?
I just went on. I just went for a ride. That's all I did.
How did you find out that your friend passed away?
I stopped by his house.
In Shawano?
Yes.
And then somebody told you that?
Yep.
And then you just continued on west?
Just continued on. I said, well, sorry to hear that.
Wow.
You know, I mean, it was a guy I knew for years when I drove truck, and you know, we sort of kept in contact, not really. I mean, once in a while I'd see him at the fair, or used to go to stock car races once in a great while, and he used to go there quite a bit.
Anything new that I haven't spoken with you or Kathy in a long time?
Nothing really.
Anything?
And Your Honor, the portions from that video that we just played for the record are 31:55 through 43:43. Now, there was just a reference to the casinos, and I think Kathy even made a reference about how often she and Jim were going to the casino. In reference to that, as part of the investigation, did you secure records from the Ho Chunk Casino in Wittenberg relevant to Kathy Friday and Jim Prokopovitz?
I did.
Now, I'm showing you it's been marked as exhibit number 97. Do you recognize that?
I do. These are some of the records that I secured from the Wittenberg Casino.
And with respect to receiving those records, I'm showing you it's been marked as exhibit number 98. Do you recognize that?
Yes, it's an excerpt from my report. So I would have went through the casino records and would have conducted an analysis and a summation of what I had noted.
Now, we had heard some testimony or evidence regarding the frugality of Kathy Friday. Do you recall that?
I do.
As well as currently the frugality of Jim Prokopovitz. Do you recall that?
I do.
With respect to obtaining these records in exhibit number 97 and 98, we'd move for the admission of both, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
Was that 98?
97 were the Ho-Chunk,
Was 97 and 98?
correct, 97 of the records, 98 was Sergeant Aronstein's report on them.
All right, both are admitted.
With respect to that, was there something noteworthy with respect to that?
Yes.
What was that?
So starting off with looking at the records, I noted that from 2013 forward, there were frequent visits to the casino which appeared to have occurred at the same time as it relates to Catherine Friday and James Prokopovitch. They appear to be using their players' cards. When looking at Catherine Friday's casino records, I note a couple of different variables. So one would be a coin-in variable, which means how much money is being put into a machine, and then a coin-out variable, which means how much money the machine pays back out, and then it's got an estimated loss or win. And then those are broken down by year. The same occurs with James Prokopovitch and his records. So what I noted is really the disparity between the two records, as well as the dollar amounts and how they changed over the years. I found some of the things there to be peculiar or unique.
As it pertains to Mr. Prokopovitch, what did you learn?
So looking at Mr. Prokopovitch, if I start in 2013, I note that in that particular year, the coin-in amount is $180 and coin-out amount is $292. So there's an estimated loss of $111.90. In 2014, I note that the coin-in amount is quite a bit higher. It's now in excess of $2,000. But the estimated, in that year, there's a small win of approximately $245. So moving forward to 2015, we now have a substantial increase of coin-in, which is now at $27,000 and change, with a coin-out amount of $25,000, with a net loss of $2,000. Now moving from 2015 to 2016, it yet again exponentially increases with a coin-in amount of $91,000 and change, and coin-out amount of $85,000. So those are large dollar amounts compared to what the increase is. So the net loss in 2016 is $6,543.30. I'm looking at year 2013. There might be a typo there as far as loss or win. I see that it's coin-in is 180, coin-out is 292, so that might be a win there. So continuing on with 2017, once again, the dollar amount is significantly high. It's coin-in amount is $82,000 and change, and coin-out amount is $74,000 and change. So a net loss there is in excess of $7,000. And then the final record that's available is 2018 with a coin-in amount of $20,000 and change, and coin-out amount of $17,000 and change, with in excess of $3,000 in loss. So when I take a look at all of that combined, I calculate Catherine's total coin-in amount during the time frame at approximately $46,000 and change, with a total loss of just over over $1,300. And when I look at James's total coin-in amount during the reviewed time frame, I calculate that to be in excess of $225,000, with a total loss of approximately $19,000.
So with respect to the information that's been offered to the court relative to the fact that Mr. Prokopovitz may not have been making much money at his job, and there would be a financial reason he would need to take Victoria Prokopovitz off of his life insurance immediately, this is something inconsistent with that. Would you agree?
It would. I was aware that Mr. Prokopovitch entered retirement during this time frame and was on a fixed income as well.
Again, when you're running these investigations, it's important for you to examine anything that can show you consistencies or inconsistencies with people and their character and what they say. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at the time, that you are conducting this investigation, you indicated that you also still had some other interviews that you had taken in this case. Is that right?
That's correct.
After the interview on December 1st of 2015, cause to meet with Jim at his residence on August 2nd, 2016, along with Special Agent Jurgis?
I do.
And at that time, do you meet with Jim and take a ride with Jim about the route that he traveled looking for Vicky that night?
I did.
And why was that important with respect to, on this date, what are you meeting with Jim about?
So this is a prearranged interview. We had arranged to meet at his residence. I had contacted him earlier to do so. I didn't indicate to him the reason for the meeting, indicated that I wanted to speak with him again. And we had certain things that we wanted to ask questions about. I had questions about Victoria's pharmacy records that I wanted to gather some information and do some follow-up with. I was also still interested about this individual, a friend of his in Shawano, which I wanted to find out some more additional detail. As I had earlier testified, I had previous conversation with him on December 1st, 2015, where he had indicated to me that his friend was deceased. So I wanted to see if I can gather maybe an address or some identifying information like a name. And lastly, I wanted to do what's called a walkthrough. Really, this walkthrough is has a number of different objectives. Really, it's for people that are victims or witnesses. It tends to assist people to actually walk through a particular scene or particular actions. It helps recollect their memory should they have a difficult time doing so. Conversely, if somebody is being less than truthful or is making up a story, it's difficult to be able to do that as you're walking through and you're making things up on the spot. Generally, there's information that can be gleaned from it. So we're looking for, if that is indeed the case here, we're looking to see if there's any provable type of lies. So it's either to help recollect or refresh memory, and conversely, it could be evidentiary in nature.
Your Honor, for the record, the state has marked Exhibit 99. We are offering it. I can advise the court that it is a video recording. So we are going to be requesting to move the smart board if possible. It did occur on August 2nd of 2016. It has been redacted for purposes of moving it along and other issues between the parties. I can advise the court that it is 57 minutes and 6 seconds long.
All right. Any of the jurors need to take a bathroom break or want to stretch? If it's going to be about an hour then? Some are saying yes. All right, let's take a short recess then.
Thank you.